Hi everyone, Dennis Foley from Acoustic Fields. I get a lot of emails from customers who say they can't hear certain things or they can't hear differences in sounds within their room, and they think or believe or have been told that they need a special skill set, a special hearing skill set to recognize things, and they get frustrated and disappointed. The term for that is golden ears, not golden years, but golden ears. People have a misconception or misunderstanding that you have to have special hearing skills to hear differences in room acoustic treatments, sounds that occur in your room and your hi-fi systems, and it's just simply not true. There's all kinds of impacts that can be made that are quite audible and quite noticeable. The lows, attack and definition is a very, very good thing to look at for low frequency energy in your room. The middles, definition and separation. That's what you want in your middle frequencies with harmonies, background vocals, rhythm instruments and things like that. You know, you want them separate and distinct, and you can hear those. It's just a matter of training yourself to recognize what those are. The highs, we like to call it in our studio sparkle and shine, but air is another quality that people use when they talk about highs. Very noticeable with today's digital technologies. In fact, too noticeable. So absorption is a good room treatment that we can use for that. But there really is no special skill set required. You don't need proper training. You do need to recognize the difference between low, middle, and high frequencies, and then start becoming more of a critical listener. And the term golden ears is not something that really applies. All right, let's forget about the term golden ears because it's not really a very descriptive term, and it's quite misleading, and it has limitations placed upon it. Let's instead focus on room sound. This is the most difficult part for people to really understand, how much the room contributes to what they're hearing. All kinds of percentages out there, 50, 60, 70%, who knows? Let's just use 50 as our guideline. So if we use 50% of the total sound is being contributed by the room, then any change that we do in low, middle, or high frequencies should be quite noticeable because it represents 50% of what we're hearing. I hear a lot of people say, well, I don't like the low end of my room, but I'm troubled on how to figure out how to improve upon it. And maybe it doesn't matter that much. Maybe it's really not that big of a deal. So they kind of talk themselves into believing that since I don't know what to do and how to treat it, then maybe it's not necessarily a big deal. Well, it is a big deal because the price we pay for our amplifiers, our speakers, our cables today, I don't know if you add your system price all up and the amount of wattage your amplifier has and put a per watt price to all of it, it's quite expensive. So unfortunately, we have to use that equipment in our rooms. And if the room you're using it in is contributing 50, 60, 70% to the total sound quality that you're hearing, even a slight modification will do a lot. Let's take low frequencies, for example. 2 well-placed pressure-activated absorbers in high-pressure areas behind the speakers in a 2-channel system will make a huge difference in definition, attack, and decay. Obviously, there's many more areas in the room that need treating, but just 2 simple units, 2 foot by 4 foot by maybe 12 inches deep, will produce a dramatic difference, a huge difference in attack and decay at the low frequencies. What else can we do? Middle frequencies, where all our emotion and emotional connectivity, if you will, to the music lies. Well, what we can do there is treat the sidewall reflections and just keep it simple, use absorption. That simple process of treating sidewall reflections with absorption will drastically improve your soundstage. You'll have more focus in the middle, you'll have more definition and separation, you'll have more layers, if you will, to your music, and that's what the mid-range should be about. The high frequencies obviously are something that need to be managed because they do contribute to what we hear, and they need to be managed even more so today with the digital technologies. Absorption is a good way. Diffusion is a good way. Absorption is a good way for middle and high frequencies both. So with your room sound being 50, 60, 70%, whatever value you want to put upon it, and your equipment, speakers, amplifiers, and cables being the other 50%, a small change in room treatment, any octave band that you want to talk about, let's start with lows, that can have a big impact. So you change an amplifier, you change a speaker, you know the difference in sound there. Well, your room is basically the same thing. So a small amount of treatment in your room will create a big improvement in sound quality. And what we find is that once people understand that, once they try and take the first step, it's all great from that point. They want to improve more. If they start with the low frequencies, which is where you should start because that provides the foundation for your music, they automatically want to treat the sidewalls and go to the middle frequency area. And then when they get that tamed and the soundstage focused, then diffusion comes into play for the rear wall and the front wall in listening positions and the rear wall in control room. So your room contributes a lot. You don't have to have golden ears. It's kind of a myth. Most people's hearing is more than adequate. If you have good enough hearing to select an amplifier and a speaker, you definitely have good enough hearing to treat your room and hear those differences also. Thank you.